the other question is, who is running the teleprompter tonight after this report that the other guy is now under investigation for making money off of reading the president's speech?
Obviously, I'm aware of the report. The president is too. I spoke with him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and frankly a disgrace. And the individual that was cited in that report is complying with the CFTC but has been put on paid administrative leave. So there will be a teleprompter operator tonight, of course, but it will not be the one, unfortunately, in that story.
Well, that was White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt answering questions about the president's long-term teleprompter operator, who is now at the center of an insider trading scandal, or maybe better said, an insider betting scandal. The White House says that the person has been suspended following accusations that he or she made winning bets on what the president would say in speeches. Now, here is part of the State of the Union address delivered earlier this year. One of the speeches reportedly involved.
My fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Now, that State of the Union address was reportedly one of more than a dozen Trump speeches on which the teleprompter operator placed bets. The markets allowed users to wager on whether the president would mention particular words, phrases, or subjects. Now, the teleprompter operator allegedly made more than $100,000 on the prediction platform Kalshi. Kalshi lawyer and head of enforcement Robert Deneau wrote on X, the Kalshi surveillance team promptly flagged, investigated, and referred these trades to the CFTC. We have been assisting regulators on this matter and provided all evidence that we collected, as we do with any referral. All right, let me pull in now Alex Goldenberg. He is the founder of Silent Index. That's a national security advisory and research consultancy. It's good to have you on the program. I mean, at first glance, this looks like an ethics scandal involving one of the White House's employees. Why should it also be seen as a national security concern?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. Look, I think we need to think of these markets as a window into who knows what, and anyone in the world can look through it. So if we see money suddenly flood, bets on not just mentioned markets, which this individual was caught trading on because he had access to the President Trump's speeches before he gave them, but also on military strikes. That could tell an adversary something. Someone on the inside knows something is potentially coming. And this isn't hypothetical. This has already happened. Hours before U.S. forces raided Caracas and captured Nicolas Maduro, someone bet $34,000 on his removal and won almost $500,000. Prosecutors said that this individual was a U.S. Special Forces soldier who helped plan the raid. And the problem is anyone watching that bet could have potentially had advanced warnings on a secret American military operation.
Alex, let me ask you, has there been any fallout from the Caracas story? I mean, has regulatory measures, have they been tightened, or have people been prosecuted? I mean, have there been consequences for what happened earlier this year?
Yeah, there have been consequences. This individual was indicted and who was connected to the Nicolas Maduro raid. I believe the CFTC is going to fine the individual who was trading on insider information in the Trump speech mention markets. So the rules are already there, especially with regard to the White House. I know that staff have been warned in writing not to profit off of insider information, but the betting happened anyway. And classic insider trading laws oftentimes don't cover this. These are bets. They're not stocks. So they fall, more under commodities laws, which was essentially built for wheat and oil, not wagers on world events.
And someone connected to the president would not have any automatic immunity from prosecution, even if we're not talking about insider trading, if we're talking about betting, but there still wouldn't be any automatic immunity for prosecution, right?
It wouldn't be, that's a good question. It wouldn't typically be charged, from my understanding, as insider trading. But it would be charged as essentially an abuse of like insider information. So prosecutors can still charge insiders who abuse their position of trust. The soldier betting on his own secret mission, this White House aide betting on the president's speech. But that's essentially fraud. But look at the punishment. No criminal charges for this individual. He may simply just have to give this money back. So if the worst outcome in many cases is a refund, I think that won't be enough of a deterrent to prevent the next individual from trading on this sensitive information.
Kalshi says that its surveillance team detected the suspicious trades in connection with the teleprompter operator and alerted regulators. I mean, does this show you that the safeguards that are in place have worked?
Look, I would give Kalshi credit. They spotted it. They froze the money. They called the CFTC. That's a positive development. But the betting went on for 3 months, from my understanding, across multiple speeches before anyone stopped it. And, catching it afterwards doesn't take back, what the market already told the world. And this is, akin to the Maduro case. This is a somewhat easy case. A known person on Kalshi, which is an American platform. The collaterals are in US dollars. They have, which is a good thing, know your customer. But many of these markets, like Polymarket, for example, run offshore in cryptocurrency under fake names. And those cheaters often don't get caught. I think this individual probably could have taken some measures to obfuscate detection, like getting a friend to trade on this information, for example. And right now, the surveillance capacities, I don't think, are prepared for creative cheating on these markets.
These bets that we're talking about at the White House, they concerned individual words and phrases. Could markets like this eventually create an incentive for someone with inside access, not merely to predict an event, but to influence what is said or what is happening or will happen?
That's the deeper danger that I've written about at length in the Wall Street Journal. Once every event has a payout, and that's the whole idea of these prediction markets, is to financialize everything, financialize every difference of opinion. The smart move then isn't to predict the future, it's to make it happen. So a betting market on a speech is basically, a cash reward tied to what's in the speech. So let's say, the teleprompter operator doesn't just read the text, but actually augments it. So, today's cases that we're seeing are essentially betting on secrets. I think we're going to start to see cases where someone's actually nudging outcomes that they can control. It's already happened, actually, in Paris. Someone bet $119 that Paris would hit a certain temperature on a particular day. And they turned $119 into 21,000. And the way they did that is they manipulated the resolution mechanism with what investigators believe was a hairdryer to spike the temperature 6 degrees in 12 minutes. Wow. So that's not trading on insider information. That's actually manipulating reality to trigger payouts.
Well, if it's that easy, I mean, if you just need a hairdryer, how easily could a hostile government, for example, manipulate a prediction market, either to spread false signals or to conceal genuine preparations for an attack?
That's a great question. I see these markets as a potential tool of information warfare, where you don't need, a spy inside the organization. You just need money, where you place a huge bet on, say you're the CCP and you want to place a huge bet on China invading Taiwan by the end of the year. What I refer to as high conviction, low probability bets. So accounts betting an exorbitant amount of money, tens of thousands, on something that has a low probability of happening, just to see how the public and the market would respond. And the tools already exist: fake accounts, bot armies, AI-generated rumors. So I'm also particularly worried about how, disinformation that we typically see as a tool of information warfare or, political warfare being used to spread rumors to, manipulate prices on these prediction markets. We already saw a false rumor that Netanyahu had died, spread partly by artificial intelligence, moved $9 million into one of these markets. And I think we're going to increasingly see this tactic across prediction markets.
The argument then to ban these prediction markets, just listening to you, the argument would be very strong. But I'm not reading a lot or hearing a lot of chatter about people pushing for that. Should they be? I mean, are we sleepwalking into what could be a crisis, a serious disaster one day?
Look, Wall Street expects these markets to handle $1 trillion a year within the next couple of years. It seems like the institutions, both our financial institutions and our media, are interested in profiting off of the growth of these prediction markets. And here's the thing: should they be banned? No. At their best, I think they're actually very honest forecasting tools, some of the most honest forecasting tools that society has ever built. That's why the stakes are so high. So the question is, whether we can keep these prediction markets honest without putting a bounty on the truth.
Yeah, that may be easier said than done. Time certainly will tell. Alex Goldenberg, founder of Silent Index. Alex, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.